Disclaimer: this content is provided for educational and informational purposes only. The views and strategies discussed are based on personal experiences and do not guarantee specific results. Real estate investing involves risk, and each individual's financial situation is unique. Always perform your own due diligence and consider professional advice tailored to your circumstances before making investment decisions. This is not a solicitation to attract investors, nor are we marketing any securities. Neither the hosts nor guests assume liability for any outcomes associated with the information provided. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Roman's Creative Academy. As always, this is Roman, and I'm Jay.
And I'm Mike.
And today, we're actually going to be talking to you guys about something that doesn't come around as often as people think, but it should. And what is that, Mike?
And that is high net worth and high valued creative finance deals.
Yeah. So, why would someone with a $900,000 house would want to do creative financing? You guys think that they would want to do it? All right, it's story time. So, babe, tell me a little bit about this house or this seller that you just talked to. Wasn't me, because I don't talk to sellers.
So this seller, he reached out to us through one of our ads on Facebook. And basically push came to shove, and he said, "Hey, Mike, look, I'm getting a divorce. It should be finalized in a week or so. I live in Frenchtown, New Jersey, and I moved when I bought this house in 2022. I moved from around the corner. I put my other house on the market, right? And I hated the on-market process. It wasn't for me." He said there's too many moving parts. It wasn't flexible. It just stressed me out. So I'm making a move, and I'm going back to California once this divorce is finalized and I sell this house. And I don't really want to deal with all the intricacies of getting the house ready for the market and getting it staged. It's a 4,000 to 5,000 square foot house, Mike. It's going to take forever, and it's going to cost a lot. So I just want an easy, quick sale, right? So I said, okay, well, and his name is David. So I said, "David, look, we have something that we can do, and it'll basically make us all happy and cover all of our bases, right?" And I explained to him what seller financing was and how it could work well for him and work well for us, right? Because it's very important that you let them know that it has to work for you too, right? And by the end of it, he was like, "I love this idea." He was like, "I get everything I want and plus some." And he was like, "I don't need the money right now. The money's not the thing for me. What's most important is the convenience."
Now, I'm going to give you guys a little diamond because I did eavesdrop on this conversation when Mike was having it. And that is, he gave you pushback on the term length that you got with him.
Yep. So we'll get into the major terms in a second. But when it came down to the seller's story and why and what he wanted to achieve, all he wanted to achieve is that he wants his divorce to go smoothly and end well. He wants to move in April or May of this year to California. He does not want to deal with getting this house ready. He literally wants to deal with packing up, getting rid of all of his shit in the house that he doesn't want, and leaving. The last thing he wants to think about is anything else. And clearly he's going through a divorce, so his wife lived there or ex, whatever. Right? It's not something that he wants to stress over.
Mind you, he had some decent equity in this house too.
Yeah. He bought the house about 3 years ago for $787,000, right? In the past year and we're already in 2025. That's crazy. Jesus Christ. So 2025, so 3 years later, the house, he's selling it for below what it's worth. The house is worth about $990,000 to $1 million. He's selling it for $900,000 on terms to us, right? So his biggest thing, he wants $900,000. That's all he cares about. He wants convenience. That's all he cares about. So what do we get in return? So I let him know. I said, "Look, with seller financing, I'll give you your price and I'll pay all your closing costs and I'll buy it as is, so don't worry about anything else. But, hey, David, we do typically buy with no money down. and I'll get you cashed out at the end of the term we agree upon. And he basically said, Mike, so I get nothing up front? And I said, no, typically we'll just get you cashed out at the end since we're paying your price. He said, okay, cool, sounds good.
Ay, ay, ay. So many people ask us how Mike negotiates that. That's just a glimpse of the conversation he has with these sellers, right? But when we say it's just creating a win-win situation for both ourselves and the seller, it's literally creating a win-win situation. I mean, the guy's got a point. Staging this 900 to $1 million house is like what, 50K?
Yep.
At least? And then painting it and making sure that it's up to par for that demographic, like,
Yep. And then Jay had an awesome point about win-win. We're going to screen it back for a minute. So Jay said term length, right? Typically, this is a little bit of golden nugget for you guys. We typically don't do anything less than a 7-year term. I won't even negotiate one, even if for the public, if we're going to assign it, right? Well, he wanted a 5-year term, and he was hell bent on this 5-year term, right? He felt like 7 years was too long, so we did a little bit of a finagle caveat, right? We said, no problem, David. We'll do 5 years for you, but we have the option to extend in 1-year increments up to 7 years if the house doesn't appraise for X percentage, right, at that time.
and babe, what does this allow you to do? You are locking in a 5-year term, but the extension does what?
It gives you a safety net or buffer just in case the market takes a shift. So in essence, we're both getting what we want. I wanted the safety of 7 years while he wanted the quickness of 5. So we're going to upfront agree on the 5 years, but I still have my safety net of the 7 if it doesn't appraise. Because that's the biggest problem, is if it doesn't appraise.
Now, all of our viewers know that we are located in PA. This house is located where?
It's on the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
So this does happen in these markets, right? And also, I want to point out, because a lot of people think that, oh, seller financing only works on these houses, with, sub 2 or
with low equity
yeah.
or like low valued property. No, this is a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 4,500 square foot home on 2 acres of land on the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And if you guys aren't familiar with New Hope, Pennsylvania, from this property you could see New Hope, which is one of the richest zip codes in all of Pennsylvania, right? We're talking high net worth individuals, entrepreneurs, properties values well over $1 million, right? And maybe for other people around the country that's normal, like you guys in California, but out this way it's not.
So I just want to say, people who have a high net worth, let's just say people who have a bunch of units or have houses that are on the more
very
expensive
large companies
side,
and have a ton of cash.
They are more likely to do a seller financing, a creative financing deal, because they know the benefits that come from it, right?
And they understand the value.
Yeah, especially seller financing. They can make much more money on their money without doing much of anything.
Yep. And then on top of that, right, they also are getting the benefits that they get, right? So to some people who have, basically there's a couple things, right? And I want you guys to take this with a grain of salt and just take it at face value. But sellers that you're dealing with who do not have a lot of money and are lower middle class, they have one pain point typically in mind and one value add. And it typically always comes back to a dollar sign, right? What money do they get up front to help them move, because they don't have moving money? They literally don't have a dollar to their name, right? They're behind on their payments. They're in foreclosure, whatever, right? Those people have a monetary why behind it. For somebody like David, who has multiple 6 figures in his bank account, he alluded to, He's moving across country back to California to live basically he said he's just going to travel for a year, right? And he does not need the money out of this house. He doesn't care about it. He cares about the other side of the deal. He cares about speed, convenience, and ease with a guarantee on his cash. That's all he cares about. He's guaranteed his money. He doesn't need it now. And he's also guaranteed convenience and that speed, that effect that he's looking for, right? So the negotiating points they're much easier for you to actually get lower money down deals when you're dealing with people who have a higher net worth or for people who are in a little bit of a different tax bracket. Because at the end of the day, typically it's not a monetary drive, right? They don't need it. They want it, right? And there's typically other factors that come into play on why that they're selling.
So, Mike, can you sum up the terms that you got with David?
Yep. So with David, it is a $900,000 purchase price. The house is worth about $1 million. He owes $787 on his mortgage. It is a 4.3% interest rate. It is a 5-year term with the option to extend to 7 years. And it is a great deal, honestly, for many different exits. Homestead, short-term rental, potentially a wraparound mortgage or a lease option. There's many options here.
So, now, what do you guys think? Should Mike and I move into this $900,000 to $1 million house? I mean, like, y'all know we just bought our house, but
I could put some car lifts in that garage.
Another move ain't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So let us know below, should we move? And if you want to know exactly what we're doing with this property, sign up for our newsletter. They will be the first to know exactly what we're going to do with this house.
Stay tuned.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you love hearing these stories, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
See ya.